Oh, okay, this is real. I can work with this. Yo, I don't even know, like, I can't even remember the names. I tried to do everything I was capable of doing that I could afford to do. The music was the thing that was the side hustle. Dancing was my girl like that. I was a ballerina. I was the head of the school choir. I'd get home at like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I was swimming. I had the best time in high school. I just wanted to be on stage. Okay, no Monday budget. Like fresh out the box. Oh yeah, this feels good. No! Oh yeah, no, that didn't work, but I tried it. You know, I don't know the term. Y'all will correct me. I know, but if we can top it up with... Yeah, I don't even know how to answer this question. This is like a lot. Okay, so...
Every artist starts somewhere, and usually someone helps light the way. Who were some of the mentors or guiding voices that helped shape your journey early on?
I want to give credit to my teachers in different subjects, especially my teacher was Course Mrs. Bodan. I think she held it down for me proper in high school, and she was like umzali, but she was one of very few people who saw me from the beginning, and she held space. Also, Miss Pierce, my jazz band teacher, she used to even take me home after rehearsals. My choir teacher, she used to also take me home after rehearsals. So it's been a community of people even from high school, because it happens that we're not always able to, abazali bethu aren't always able to come through all the time. So when they aren't able to come through, then there would be abazali who would come through and play indima yobuzali. And that's childhood. Now moving into career moves and career prospects, I think having, I don't want to mention everybody by name because but having people around me who've shown me the way with kindness. I think sometimes mentorship goes beyond somebody teaching you a technical skill. It also goes beyond teaching you the soft skills to carry you throughout, to carry you when the technical skills need to take a break and you can't apply those skills. I think those are the people that I hold and revere very much, the people who hold me in those spaces in between. And they know who they are, and I don't take that for granted.
So now you've become a mentor yourself.
Yeah.
What does that role mean to you, and how do you approach uplifting artists or emerging talent?
I think I don't necessarily try to make it my role to uplift. I do what I do, and what you take from what I do and what I teach is what uplifts you. I think it's not necessarily about me saying, "Dizogo motivator." My knowledge is the be-all and end-all. I think when we engage in sessions and workshops, the whole point is to have people engaging, to have questions and answers open to all of us. As much as I can pose a question, and you are also just as much allowed to pose questions. And I think that's also helped me learn while teaching. I think if we come, or if I approach things as I'm trying to impose my knowledge on you, or impose my way on you, then we have a disconnect. And I found that when we collaborate, even in mentorship efforts, it makes things so much better. Getting to learn what your strengths are and getting to learn what your weaknesses are allows us to collaborate and create something that we won't even be able to put a price tag to it. So I think allowing people to be humans in the process is what works for me when it comes to mentorship, because artistry goes beyond just talent. It goes and speaks to the person themselves and if I can't have access to that, then it just makes it a little bit harder if we are not connecting on a human level first before we even get into artistry.
And of course, your work with the Ramblings Network takes that even further. You've created more than just a platform. It's become a space for creative growth and guidance. How does mentorship show up in the space that you create?
You know, when I create these shows, especially right now we're doing Imibongo, that's the focus show we're doing as Ramblings Network. Allowing other artists to be a part of the production makes it more special for me. And also, now that we're working with Wynberg Girls Jazz Band and choirs, that opens up space for the children to learn in action, for students to learn in action, because I was once a student. And I think when somebody is giving you something that feeds you directly, there's very little, I don't know how to describe that kind of feeling, because it's something that I've always yearned for. But with these platforms, the best thing to do, and the best thing that we do and have done for the past 3 editions, is to allow somebody to be themselves on that stage. It's your moment, it's your time. We're not telling you what to do, what to sing. You have 20 minutes, do your thing in that 20 minutes. And it's allowed people to just be themselves and have fun with it, and also engage with the crowd. I remember the first show that we did, we were all very nervous, but if anything, all the artists knew, go do your thing, hey? Go do your thing, the audience is waiting for you. And that's the energy that I think we give, that silambele nina as much as nani nilambele tina. And that is what gets portrayed in all of our shows, that we give the best that we can. We give authenticity. We give a platform for somebody to just be themselves on that stage. And we have the most fun.
And how do you navigate being both a student of your craft and a mentor to others? Are there moments when the roles overlap?
Yeah, of course, we're humans. Of course. Because I am an artist myself, and even now I am in need of mentoring when it comes to particular things. But at least, as I said, once we identify our strengths, we then are able to identify our weaknesses, and we are able to now outsource whatever we need to outsource per se. I think the roles get blurred when I'm burned out, or when I'm not taking care of one part. If, for example, I'm not taking care of my artistry and myself as a person and my health, then obviously then I can't be a great mentor to you. What am I going to teach you? And then I'm going to get burned out, because now I'm trying to teach you something that I don't even identify with. So the lines do get blurred, but also with time and with growth and with age, then you start defining things. It becomes much clearer. There was a time I was like, am I even ready to even say I'm a mentor to somebody else and whatever? But I've hosted so many songwriting workshops. I've even been called by Shawahuru to host songwriting workshops and performance workshops. So that is affirming, and it also goes to show that people see it. People see something in me that sometimes I'm diminishing within myself, or things that I don't even see within myself. But yeah, when it comes to mentorship, I think it's worked well for me, because I know who I am, I understand my positioning, and when I come into a setting where I'm now giving information, or the facilitator of this information session, I'm able to remove myself as Bonga Kwana, the artist and summer nominee, etc., and my accolades, and be a person within the space. This is what we're doing, and this is how we do it. How would you like to approach, and how do we approach and collaborate with it? So again, collaboration in all of this works really well. It makes it feel less daunting and more human.
And why do you think mentorship is especially important in the South African music landscape today?
Because and I think it's easier to be envious than it is to be generous with information. And we're living in a highly saturated content era, so everybody's pushing something somewhere, and they're just trying to push anything. And I think the beauty then with mentorship or guidance, maybe mentorship sounds a little intense, with guidance or advice from other people, it just allows you to sift what is actually relevant for you and what isn't. Because if we look at, I don't want to mention the names obviously, because we're not trying to go into that, but if you look at what's been happening with this new school, new kids, old kids, OGs, this conversation is one of the most annoying in my opinion, because that we're removing that flexibility to guide, and now we have abantu abadala who've been in the game for long and feel like they are the ancestors and the guiders of this game, so they want to tell people what to do. And then we have the so-called youngsters who are like, we're doing this and we're artists and we're figuring it out, and no matter what culture demands, culture is made by the people in it, and it can change and shift and do whatever. So I think the biggest disconnect that I feel exists right now in the music industry is this ageist nonsense. that they're lazy. Whereas we have come from a very abusive system where people are just like, this is the standard, this is industry standards, and you need to do it like this, and this is how it's done, or else you're not going to make it. And then we have the disruptors who are like, well, watch us do it. And we've seen so much disruption. We've seen so much disruption from major labels to independent artists. And there's like, no, we're not going to do that. And I think if the OGs, Abantu Abadala, don't allow themselves to also learn and also be taught, then we're going to keep having a disconnect. And I don't want to personally be mentored by somebody who has envious undertones in what they say. And when they are criticizing, they're not criticizing because they are building and they feel like there's room to improve. They literally say, Ni dong ni na, you are lazy, you are uncultured, you are this, you are this, you are this. So there's that lack. And there's also this thing of the golden oldies exposing the youngins for, look, they really don't know what to do. Or they're really uninformed, etc. And yeah, it's disturbing. I'm glad this is my chat. And nobody's driving any narrative in this chat. But it's very disturbing, and I think it's quite disheartening to see abantu abadala who set traps for abantwana. And it's not to say or remove accountability from youngins, but it's also to actually put accountability to actually play that role of guiding rather than just sitting there and saying, you kwaza kwati kwati, and also just allowing for culture to shape shift, to change. Because once upon a time there were no women hip-hop artists, and the ones that were there were trying to fit into the mold of this. And now they're here and they're owning in the space, and they're saying, well, we're not going to do it like that. It doesn't need to be done like that for it to be culture. And culture can be redefined by the people who exist in it. That's my energy. As collaborators, let's compete, especially ages competitions.
There is definitely no need for that.
Yeah.
As your career continues to grow, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? Not just through your music, but through those you've mentored.
Be yourself. Yeah, I think. Be yourself. Do your thing. Do your thing, but do it truthfully. Do it honestly. Do it in a way that when you look at it tomorrow, 5 years from now, you're able to say, that was me. It may not be relevant now, but I wasn't living a life that was untrue. Or I mean, if you're able to listen to your music 5 years later and you're like, yeah, that's still it, I may not resonate with it now because but I wasn't talking about somebody else's life. And that's how I'm able to say because I have always been true to myself. Be yourself. Do your thing.
Are you looking forward to A26 September?
I absolutely am. I am. There's a lot of moving parts, but I think that's the thrill. You know, that's the thrill of the music business end. It makes me excited. It's not daunting. I can't wait to get on stage, but also I can't wait to get those balls rolling. I can't wait, like.
I'm excited as well.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna see you on the 26th of September. Bye bye. Till then.